Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I know there's been a bit of a gap. There have been a lot of changes in 2018. A lot of stuff happened. The most recent change is that I moved house at the end of last year, which is great because it now means I have a permanent space to make videos and work on other projects. But I also had a lot of stuff going on personally last year which got in the way of making videos, so apologies for that. I just wasn't in the best place and other stuff had to take priority. But it is a new year and a fresh start, so I'm hoping that I will be able to post at least once a month for you guys. That is my goal and I'm going to try really hard to stick to it. The other thing that happened is over Christmas I did my first pantomime. If you don't know what pantomime is, if you've never heard of it before or you're not from the UK or the British Isles, because it's a very British thing. Pantomime is a form of theatre, kind of harks back to commedia dell'arte. It's only done at Christmas and it's kind of the whole family can go. You have like archetypes, so the lovers, the dame who's a man dressed as a woman, because, you know, what's funnier than that? Hijinks ensue, there's lots of slapstick, lots of comedy, lots of singing, lots of dancing, and it's bonkers. So I did that for the first time. Really fun, really exciting, really mad. So I thought for my first video back after my little hiatus, I don't know why I did that in American accent, but I did. I thought I would share with you my experience and what I'd learnt and some tips in case any of you want to do a panto in the future. So here are those tips. There's 4 of them. That's 4 fingers for 4 tips. Tip number 1, meal prep as much as you can. This is not always possible, particularly during tech week or when you've got the run of double or in some cases triple show days and you're tired and you just do not have time to cook. But the more that you can meal prep, the more money you will save, because it takes a lot of energy and you need big meals when you're in rehearsals and doing the show run. It's not kind of a sandwich in the middle kind of job. So yeah, if you can, especially if you're on a budget, meal prep. Oh, police boats, that's exciting. There you go. Tip number 2, try and be as familiar with the script as possible. I don't mean learn your lines, because things might change. Things do change. And we were told specifically not to learn our lines. However, because you don't have a lot of rehearsal time, we only had 3 weeks. In hindsight, it would have been helpful, I think, to have known the main things that happen in each scene and the order of all of the scenes, so that before rehearsals or a couple of days in, you know exactly what's happening in the plot, so that you could kind of fudge your way through the story, obviously making up your lines because you don't know them, but you could do the show, if that makes sense, because then it's less to learn. Then it's just a case of learning specifically what you say, not also what do I say and when do I say it and why is this happening and what has just happened before and what's going to happen after. You already know what's happening around it. It's just I say this specific thing then. So that's my second tip. Tip number 3, which isn't so much a tip, just something to be aware of, is that you have to do a lot of the work yourself. Like I said, because you don't have a lot of rehearsal time, and a lot of that time is used to rehearse the dance numbers, rehearse set pieces, rehearse comedy panto business that is very much blocking and like this has to happen so this lands and all of that stuff. There's not a lot of time for scene work and character work. Depending on your director and also the role that you may be playing, you will do some character work, obviously, but the fundamentals, your basics, you have to be prepared to do yourself. Your character's background, their wants, their intentions, their super objectives, their actions. And then obviously if it's wrong or you're struggling, your director can help you with that as well, but you have to do that work yourself too. So that is tip number 3. I had to look at my fingers because I'm very tired and I haven't had lunch and it's gone 3 o'clock and that was stupid of me. Finally, tip number 4, sounds obvious, but be present and tell the story. It's really hard when you've heard the same jokes nearly 100 times and you're tired and it's the middle of the crazy Christmas double/triple show days and there's a child in the audience that will not stop crying and you're like, why? What is going on? It's the hardest thing to keep hold of, especially because the characters in Panto are archetypes. They're not deeply written characters. The plot is not that intricate. The plot and the characters are kind of just vehicles for the comedy, Panto, silly, crazy bonkersness that is pantomime, which is great, but because of that, as an actor, it can be very easy to go on to autopilot, and that's when you lose the magic of it. So even though it's hard when you're tired and there's distracting tiny child audience members who are trying to climb on the stage, just keep on listen to the characters on stage who are with you, be present in that story, remember what your character wants, and also remember things like the danger is real. So in our Panto, there's a bit where there's pirates, like pirates are the bad guys in the Panto I was in, and obviously there's lots of silliness with, there were points where the weapons were hot dogs and like, oh, what are they called? The squeezy things, ketchup bottles. That's the one. Like, there were several moments where those were the weapons that were being used, and it's silly and it's mad, but for the characters, they are genuine threats. So you've just got to be present, remember what is happening, remember the stakes, and be present in the scenes, even when you're really tired and you only got Christmas Day off and it wasn't even a day off because you were driving all over the place seeing family, as was my experience. So that is my fourth tip. So those are some tips from what I have learnt doing Panto. As a side note, I just want to say I did not realise how technical pantomime is. When I've seen pantomime before, if you've seen pantomime you'll know, it just looks like a load of actors mucking about on stage, being silly, and it is silly. That's definitely a thing Panto is, but just the technical precision that you need to get jokes to land, I did not realize how technical it is. So it was really interesting to see what looks like just a load of silly nonsense be created, and the amount of time and effort and craft that goes into that. So that was really interesting, and it was a really fun experience, really fun job to do, and I really enjoyed it. I haven't forgotten your suggestions of videos that you'd like to see from last year. They are coming, please bear with me. If you have any more suggestions on videos that you would find useful or things that you want me to discuss about acting, if you want advice or just interested to know about certain topics, then please leave me a comment and I will talk to you later. See you soon. Bye!